another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series number 41 of the Deluxe Class Constructicon Scrap Metal. For the package, much like all of these new Studio Series figures, you got the Transformer Tech Generation logo, you got an image of Scrap Metal right there, as well as on the side, you can see that he's from Revenge of the Fallen, and I don't actually think that this guy had a robot mode. I mean, there were several other Constructicons that just kind of showed up in their vehicle forms and then became Devastator, so it's not the first time that Hasbro has given us a figure that really only had one mode. Fallen. But you come to the back of the package, you can see a nice image of him in his robot mode as well as his vehicle form. And it says, Constructicon Scrap Metal combines with his comrades to form Constructicon Devastator. Then you see he does come with his backdrop, and then you got some other figures that are in this wave. The other side here has that really nice image of Devastator, and you can see that instead of the Autobot logo that we normally get, much like Rampage, the logo on the side here as well as what's on the backdrop is Devastator's head. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Scrap Metal open up out of his packaging and obviously in his digger mode. And starting off first, he does come with the backdrop. You can see Studio Series number 41. You got the pyramids there in the background. I think when I talked about Scavenger, people were like, no, I think that's Scavenger's shadow in the background. Nope, I totally think it's Devastator, because why would they use the same shadow for Scrap Metal? Doesn't make sense. Transformers, and then you got the Devastator logo right up there. As for the figure, getting that off to the side. Now, there is, not controversy, but who is this guy? Type of thing. In the scene in Revenge of the Fallen, and I was totally mistaken in the beginning, this guy did apparently appear, but was then also apparently destroyed. So the story goes, when we first saw like a whole bunch of construction vehicles on top of like a cargo ship, all those Decepticons transformed, they jumped in the ocean, and they revived Megatron. In that scene, there were two yellow construction vehicles. One looked like, kind of like Scavenger, but a different type of like bulldozer thing. I don't know anything about construction vehicles. I'm sure someone's gonna correct me. But that initial scene had a yellow, let's say Scrapper looking from the original Devastator. It was one of those. And then the scene changed, and then we saw this guy where Scrapper was. So it's Michael Bay. Continuity doesn't really matter. But then this guy transformed, they jumped in the ocean, and then, oh, I forgot the little tiny doctor dude. He's like, here's the little one. And this guy was apparently the little one. So he was destroyed, and his parts were harvested to repair Megatron. So apparently that character died. But then we saw this type of construction vehicle again in that desert battle, and he became Devastator. Could they be two totally different characters? Sure, but I think for the simplicity of keeping things straight, they just decided to name this guy who combines to make Devastator Scrap Metal. I don't know. It's convoluted. Makes no fucking sense. I don't understand it. But we got a pretty cool toy out of it nonetheless. As you can see, he is that Scoopy doodad. You got a little section right here where a person would sit. Really nice metallic blue paint on there. Really nice paint job throughout the entire thing. I mean, there's a lot of just molded yellow, but you do have some nice black bits in here. You got some wires and different things painted and detailed very nicely. You got a lot of that black detailing going across the little arm section here. And then you got some nice kind of gunmetal gray right there. Overall pretty good. He does have wheels. You got a little rolly thing here. You got some back here, so he rolls. But he is a deluxe size figure, so he is a little bit smaller than Scavenger, who is a Voyager. I feel like this should be bigger than this in terms of like real life vehicles, but you know, it is what it is. But there's your size comparisons. Yeah, there it is. And just because of fun, here's a bot. Bye-bye. You have to excuse me. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm now just starting to get a little bit tired from my second job and all this stuff, so sorry. Now, for his transformation, one thing that I will say is don't ever put this piece right here. Don't push that all the way up. It'll become damn near impossible to get out unless you use some kind of a wedging tool. Just, you can put it there and you can still pretty much do everything. I mean, that's a little bit close. So, see, because once it's up there, you're not... what's happening? All right, let's use this. It is really a stiff wedge in there, so I just kind of leave it like that. But to go into, first off, his limb mode. First, you need to take this back piece off. This is going to become like a shield. Okay, we'll go with that. Then this, you want to detach this, lift this up. Take this, lift this up. Come around here to these little bits, fold this out like so. Do that on this side. And then you kind of rotate that around. And basically, you know, rotate that around too. So rotate that around. And I guess you can rotate that around too. Then you want to take these little bits here, kind of get that out of the way, and then these are going to kind of just untab a little bit and give a little bit of an angle to these guys. And then you take this, fold this down, fold this out, and you know, maybe leave it like that. Yeah, something like that, I think. Here's his hand. You're gonna plug this in. It's gonna claw you. That claw. Yeah. So that's his arm. There's no real rhyme or reason to most of this stuff right now because we don't have anything to really attach it to. Or I don't even know if I wouldn't even say it's his arm. It's more or less his just hand, because these are kind of like fingers and knuckles, and he's just gonna. So there's that. Robot mode. Let's get this going. So pull these out like so. Rotate these around like that. Take these little bits, fold that out. You create his foot. Then take this entire section, rotate that around at that upper part of the joint. Bring all those nice details on the outside. You can chicken leg him. I think that ultimately that is the best look for him. So kind of get something like that going for him. Then take this entire thing. This is going to swivel up, lock into place, rotate those back down thusly. This rotate around. This, rotate that around. And then these arms are just going to swivel all this around. You have to reach in here and fold out like a little finger thing. I don't know, something like that. We'll call it a little finger. Not that type of finger. No, we're not giving people the finger. Pull that out there. There we go. Get that. Like so. Take this piece. Maybe I shouldn't. How do I? There you go. Pull that out like that. Rotate that around. Bring his head up. Bring that back. Keep your head up. Keep your head up, buddy. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Straighten out his legs. Take this little bit. Put that wrap back there. And when you're done, there you have the little guy. Here he is in his robot mode. And this is a really fun little bot. I mean, again, I know that we did get him in terms of we got a vehicle that looked like him in terms of a robot mode. Whether or not this is what his robot mode looked like, I don't really think we saw too clearly. We saw the scene where he was jumping off the ship, and then he was in the water, and it was very hard to see things there. And the vehicle that this was that transformed into Devastator never had a robot mode. It just went from being this digger thing to being the hand. So regardless, I think this looks really cool. I think it does have that very Bay style design, a lot of angular panels, obviously the whole little chicken leg thing. It's a great little toy. Now, for a size comparison, the only other Constructicon that we've gotten so far is Rampage. Now, I have been calling this guy Scavenger in the whole video. I think I was calling him Scavenger. I don't remember now what the hell I was calling him. But I'm sure the comment section has exploded by this point in time in the video, trying to correct me. And good job, guys. I appreciate you paying attention. But here we see the size comparison. He's definitely smaller, and I honestly do feel like he should be more his size, in like vice versa, I suppose. He should be his size, he should be his size. Either way, it doesn't matter. I think that they look great together. Again, like I said, he does have that very movie aesthetic, especially here in the face, coming in to take a real close look at his chest. Let me come up to his face. There's his face. It is kind of hard to see everything in his face, but he does have some nice red paint for the eyes. The rest is just yellow, and then you got blackening there, but I mean, definitely a movie style look. And then I like how everything comes together. I mean, you got like these little headlight sort of things there on the side. Great silver detail actually painted on the inside section here, highlighting some little areas. That's really nice. Good molded in detail with all these other little panels that come around and kind of pretend that parts are going around. I don't mind that. A lot of people are like, oh, well, that's a fake thing, and I don't mind it. It works. It creates a realistic looking both vehicle and robot mode. I don't necessarily think that this part here has, oh wow, that's freaking cool too. He's got like a whole spine right there. That's fucking amazing. That's great detail right there. But it's like, I don't necessarily think everything needs to have a place. He could do a fake part for it. Now this is his weapon. This is that shield thing. It just pegs here on the side. I feel like that's kind of pointless, but you can just put it right there. It is a little parts formery, but it's supposed to be a weapon. Not even really a weapon, honestly. I mean, because it's just a shield. You can't use that other post for anything. But overall, real great detail on here. Everything compresses nicely. Everything looks good. Just an overall really good looking figure. Now, first articulation, the head here is on a little bit of a hinge as part of the transformation. Then you got a ball joint, so you get a real good range of motion with his head. The shoulders are on the little hinge right there, so you can kind of move that around, but I mean, you're not going to get too much extra range of motion. I guess maybe if he wants to reach down and scratch his toe or something, you could do that. I don't know. But the main section here is on a ball joint, so you get that full range of motion. You do have a hinge right here, and then you also do have a ball joint that has a deep cut. So you basically got a double jointed elbow right there, but then the lower section is the ball joint, so you can rotate it. His hands here, though, they can't rotate, so you are stuck with them kind of being like a little bit gorilla-ish, but you can rotate that around, but then he's constantly scooping. But at least you can rotate that around to create a better look. I don't really know how you could have put a swivel in there or anything, so it is what it is. No waist rotation. Everything's locked into place, but you got a really nice ball joint here for a lot of range of motion. You can go in and out about that far, forward to back, all that stuff. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh, and then he does have two joints here at the knee. Like I said, I don't think, I mean, the pictures might have him chicken leg, but I don't know necessarily if there are CGI renders floating around on the internet. I probably should have checked that out, and someone's going to be like, you should do some research off the bottom. That's what's wrong with you. But that's about it. Nothing really at the feet. I guess you could kind of say the toes. And the heels can move around, but no tilt or anything. So, decent level of articulation. Not really anything that's lacking other than like the wrists, and they have been putting a lot of ankle tilt in their figures lately, so that's a little unfortunate. But he is very stable when he's standing here, so you don't really need a lot of that ankle tilt. It just works naturally with him. And I mean, let's see how good of a balancing job we can. Oh well. I'll just do that. Karate kick. So really cool. Definitely some good poses with this guy, and I cannot wait to be able to combine him with Devastator. A lot of people don't like the movie toys. I love them. I'm a G1 fan, and I love this stuff, so I'm cool with it. Okay, so transforming him back, I'm going to pull all this apart. Let's see, separate that, and then pull his head forward on this. Come on. Oh wait, here, hinge that back. Come on, what's happening here? Why does this not come out? I was having problems with this earlier too, so I don't know what I'm actually forgetting here. I'm forgetting something. I'm just going to straighten out those legs. We'll come back to that. Rotate that around thusly. Collapse these. Rotate. Collapse. And then, yeah, this whole thing hinges out. Oh, that's... Ah! There we go. Better. Okay. That's what we want to do. I still don't want to come out. Why aren't you coming all the way up, butthole? What's your deal? Butthole dude. I mean, it's like moving. Is it locked in here? Does this tab in? Why are you not coming all the way out? Oh, that's as far as it goes out. That's why. Oh, shit, I'm ridiculous. All right, there you go. I like rotating the head and then putting this back up there. One thing that's interesting, I love this. You're not going to be able to not see this. That looks like a face. That looks like someone's head, doesn't it? Totally does. Like, there's little eyes. There's his little mouth. Totally. You guys are gonna see that now. Always in your dreams. Rotate these around. Collapse these little bits up. These are going to got little holes on the side right here. Just push that in. Lock that into place. Do that on both sides. Bring these legs up. And then you got little slots on the inside here. You got a little slot section that's going to lock into that little tab. And then this plugs into there. So just line this bottom one up first and just squeeze that in there. Really easy transformation on this guy. It doesn't bother me a lot, honestly. Some people like the more difficult transformations. I'm okay with it as long as it makes sense and it works and is fun to do. And this guy's definitely fun to transform. You just go back and forth. It's really very simple. Rotate this. We're going to hinge this down, and then this whole section curls in and just sits down like that. Do this as well. You line up the little rail here with this. So bam, just like that. And then rotate this. And then you have a little tab here that locks in the side of that. Put that in there thusly. Then this section right here, you got these little slots on the underside. You have to make sure that this is the little peg here is down in this groove area. So just put that right there. Squeeze that down. And when you're done, there you have scrap metal. If you want to, you can move this up. But when you're done, there you have scrap metal back in his vehicle mode. Again, a super fun toy. Very simple in terms of the overall look, but it nails it. I mean, that really does look like one of these things. Transformation, as I said, while simple, is fun to do. Sometimes that simplicity just works, and that's definitely the case with this guy. And it gets to a robot mode that also is really fun. He has that movie look, very well articulated. Just, I don't know, there's just something fun about him, which is funny because he makes up the hand of a character called Devastator, which something named Devastator does not sound very fun. But this guy really is. If you are a fan of the movies, this is definitely one that I would consider adding to your collection, especially since he does create that large Devastator. One thing that is usually the case is a lot of times combiner figures end up being displayed as the combiner. This is definitely a figure that I could see people in, even Rampage, for example. All the Constructicons so far have seemed really cool that you could have basically two of them. One to form Devastator, one to have separately. I could definitely see people doing that with these guys. So without question, I would recommend adding this guy to your display. All that being said, if Scrap Metal here is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he is hitting various retail locations right now. So if you're looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, there's places online such as Big Bad Toy Store. For that, I'll put a link down in the video description where you'll go to BBTS and you can check out availability on this guy as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support, guys, simply by hitting that little tiny thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, a huge thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons who, through their continued support, now more than ever help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, grow wise, grow strong, but never grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.
You got